All right, hello. This is Nicole Whitlock with Ecom Sellers, and this is the weekly ecom planning session. My passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get focused, get organized, get consistent in their business. And if that's you, I am here for you. You can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session by going directly to ecomsellers.com, clicking on freebies, and scheduling a free 20-minute coaching session so I can help you on your journey. In addition to that, I do invite you to register for the Ecom Q4 Summit. You can go to www.ecomq4summit.com. That's ECOM Q4summit.com to get registered right now. We're live in Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. And today we are going through our weekly planning session. So, the one thing about the weekly planning session is that it is all about scheduling or planning for your success next week, all of the things that you're going to do in your business so that you can continue to move the needle, make incremental progress in your business, and work on being successful. So with that, you can go into the e-commerce planning Facebook group. You can download in the files section. So go to the files section. You can download the weekly ecom planning checklist. You can also download the daily and the monthly one as well. And this checklist is designed for all sellers. So it's designed for those who are selling on any platform: Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify, Walmart, Facebook Marketplace, Bakari, Poshmark, you name it, Google Shopping, WooCommerce, whatever. And for those sellers that have different or maybe multiple e-commerce methods, we don't care if you're doing print on demand, private label, white label, drop shipping, wholesale, liquidations, thrifting, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, selling books, doesn't matter. These are just general activities that sellers should think about as they begin to build their schedule for next week, their plan for success next week. So, in the weekly planning checklist, we're going to go through some actions and activities that you can do to help you to be successful next week and beyond. Know that next week is technically, I guess the majority of next week is August, because Sunday is our monthly planning session. So please come back and hang out with us on Sunday to put together your monthly plan. If you don't have a notebook and pen handy, you might want to grab one, just a suggestion. And or if you've got the e-commerce planner, you can go to myecomplanner.com to purchase the digital version, but it's 40% off right now. You can grab that planner to help you on this journey of putting together a plan of attack for your success this Q4. So with July like wrapping up, you're planning for your success the first week of August. And that's what we're going to be focusing on right now. So with that, in this weekly planning session, as we go through the template, there's three things we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put together sort of an outline in step one of the process, which is building the weekly template. The weekly template is sort of the guide that we'll use to say, okay, these are the activities I'm going to engage in next week regarding my business. And then once we build the guide, then we'll build what's called the actual schedule. So if it says that we're listing, the actual schedule will say what we're listing during that time frame. If it says that we are doing product research, the actual schedule will say what type of product research we're doing. So the actual schedule indicates the what. The template just indicates like when are we doing these things, what time frame, what window. And then from there, we're going to incorporate aspects from our monthly planning session. Now, the monthly planning session is tomorrow. It's Sunday. And so we will talk about some aspects of it, but we won't get into deep detail. So, with that being said, I hope this is going to be a blessing to you. Go grab your notebook and pen and let's get started. So, the first thing that we have to do is we have to build out the guide. And as part of the guide or the template, there's a couple of things that we need to make sure that we make a note of. We need to make sure the things that we're already doing in our business and when we're potentially already doing those things. the things that we feel like we need to do or must do in our business, and when we might do those things, and the things that we want to or should be doing in our business, and when might we do those things. So, an example of things that you already do, and this is not, I guess I said in our business, this is in your business and in your life, because God blesses us with 24 hours in the day, and we're not spending that entire 24 hours working in our business. We're awake 16 to 18 of those hours, and those 16 to 18 hours are still not spent 100% on our business. Although, as we get closer to Q4, we're going to spend a little more time in our business. But there are other things that we do. We get up, we have breakfast, maybe we go for a jog, we spend time with the kids, we meditate, read the Bible, we go to the grocery store. We do different things. And so, regaining control and organizing our life so that way we can actually get more stuff done in a day is ultimately what we're trying to do. That's the goal, that's the objective, that's the mission, is to get more stuff done in a day and to use our time wisely. So binge watching TikToks, hanging out on YouTube, or watching, I don't know, Netflix, a series, or Hulu, or whatever, is not going to make us money. It's not contributing to the success of our life or our business. If you're just looking for something just to hang out and something mindless, that's fine. But unless you are actually putting up the TikToks yourself and getting paid to do it, unless you have the YouTube channel yourself and you're getting paid for people to watch your videos, and I don't know how you get paid to watch Netflix or Hulu, but unless they are paying you to do these things, none of that contributes in a positive way to your life. You're not making any money. That activity does not generate cash for you. So your goal is to begin the process of transitioning and focusing on things that generate money for you, and things that contribute positively to your life, things that are going to help you to be a better person, help you to have a better life, be a little less stressed, feel a little more organized, feel a little more in control, and stop reacting to your life and everything that's happening every single day. That's ultimately the goal. So, as we go through this step one of this process, building this guide, we are going to, and let me just say this: if you want to see what an outline template might look like when you're done with it, in the middle of this downloaded PDF, around page 4 or 5, is 2 example schedules that are just mock schedules. They are schedules of a person that has a 9 to 5 that does retail arbitrage and online arbitrage along with drop shipping, and how their day might be split up. And it is using time blocking. So if you don't like time blocking, that's fine. Time blocking is when you designate what you're doing each hour. And again, this is a guide. You're not putting in the detail that's in the actual schedule. So this is just a guide. Like, okay, at 7 o'clock, I exercise, and at 8 o'clock, I meditate and read the Bible or whatever. You put down some general stuff that you're doing. Okay. So that's ultimately the goal, is to put down some general activities that you're engaging in your schedule. All right. And then as you go through and build this schedule out, the next thing, the second example is a stay-at-home mom that's doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, print on demand, and drop shipping. Again, it's just a guide. And it gives you some ideas on what to fill in. If you don't like doing time blocking, you can actually just lump it together, maybe, and do chunks of, these are the activities I'm going to do in the morning, these are the activities I'm going to do in the afternoon, and these are the activities that I'm going to do in the evening. Those 3. Okay? So that might work better for you, to put together a guide of the activities that you're going to do in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. All right. So let's talk about this first part. In this first part, we're going to just outline some things that may be part of our life. We don't want to exclude, the things that have nothing to do with our business. Ultimately, we're working to grow and expand our business and, gain some more traction. But we don't want to exclude, the things that have nothing to do with our business. So as you're thinking about the things that you should be doing, one thing I'll say, you can do this dump inside of a Google Sheet, this brain dump inside of a Google Sheet. And using Google Sheets is great because then you can access it from your mobile device from anywhere. And you can just fill in what's applicable for you. So if you have a Gmail account, you can go and click on the Rubik's Cube up in the upper right-hand corner. and it's the 9 dots. If you click on the Rubik's Cube in the upper right hand corner, what you can do is from that Rubik's Cube, you can, once you click on the 9 dots, you'll click on Drive. And once you click on Drive, you'll go over to the right hand side and you will choose what type of document you want to create. So on the right hand, sorry, yeah, on the left hand side, I'm saying the opposite here. On the right hand side is where you're going to click on the 9 dots, which is the Rubik's Cube, and you go to Google Drive. On the left hand side, once you select Drive, you will go on the left hand side, and that's where you'll click on the big giant plus and you can choose Google Sheets. Google Sheets is very similar to Excel. It's like a spreadsheet, it's an online spreadsheet. And so once you click on that, you'll get an online spreadsheet. At the bottom of that spreadsheet, it'll say Sheet 1. We're going to click on the tiny plus at the very bottom of that spreadsheet and add a Sheet 2. So you'll have a Sheet 1 and a Sheet 2. On Sheet 1, if you click on that folder tab, what we want to do is in column A, we're going to write down the things that we're going to name that column things that we already do. These are things we're already doing in our life that we feel like are contributing positively in our life. They are helping us in any kind of way. They're reducing our stress. They're helping us to be organized. So if they have a positive contribution, that's what we're going to put under that column. So we're going to go down the column and list things under the words already do. Or you can name it whatever you want to. This is what I currently do, whatever it is. Okay, so that's column A. It'll be column A1. Then B and C, a B1 and C1, we're going to leave those blank because we're going to fill in the days in which we currently do that. So you can name B days and the time, C, put the time underneath that. So an example would be on Wednesday nights, you go to Bible study at 7 p.m. That is what you do. So Bible study is the first part. That's what you already do. When do you go? Wednesday. What time do you go? 7 p.m. Okay. Just doing a brain dump, go down that column. And so you're just going to continue to fill that in. These are things that you already do. Please don't put anything on there or in that list underneath there that is not contributing positively to your life in some kind of way, whether it's your life or your business. If you always list Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. at night, whatever it is, then you write that down. That's what you already do. Okay. If you already, go for a jog every single morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, then write that down. So put down the things you already do. The next thing is to write down, the next column is things that you need to do in your business. And it could be things that you need to do in your life. Maybe you do need to get a little more organized in some other areas of your life. So we're going to take the opportunity just to make a note of these things. It doesn't mean we're going to do something with every single one of them, but we can make a note so we don't lose them. So need will go under, we did use column A, B, and C. So that's D, E, and F. Column D, we will put down the things we need or must do. And so if you're running an e-commerce business, one of the things you need to be doing, you should be doing, you must be doing, is creating a listing. Like you got to be creating listings. That's the only way people will find your stuff to buy it. So I would put listings under there. And I would indicate next to that when you might be creating listings. And I would also indicate what time you typically think that you might be able to create listings. Now, you don't have to fill in what's not currently happening right now because it may be difficult for you to figure that out. So once we have a full picture of your schedule, then we'll be able to plug in the holes where it makes sense to maybe slide this into that spot. And then the last column, so we use A, B, C, D, E, and F. So we're going to use G, H, and I columns going down again. So things you want to do or need to do in your business, that's going to be under column G. And then H and I will be the days in which you do it and the times. So you don't have to fill in the days and the times yet because you probably don't know it. But if there's things that you don't feel like you're doing that you should be doing, like maybe you should be reconciling your expenses every single month. That's probably something you should be doing. I mean, if you're running a business, you should. There may be some other things that you feel like you should be doing. Maybe you're not drinking enough water every day. And so you feel like that's something you should be doing. So you can write that down. Put that under should. So once you have created this spreadsheet, and you can do this on a notepad if you want to, either one, doesn't matter. Start filling in the things that you already do, need to do, want to do. Now, from your personal life, this could be things like working out. This could be when you go to the grocery store, because we typically go to the grocery store on Friday evenings because it's less traffic then. We also record our videos for our TikToks then too. Um, in addition to that, we do our cooking for the week on Saturday evening. So again, we have like sort of a routine in which we do certain things. And maybe you have a routine and maybe that routine serves you well. If there are things that you're doing that don't serve you well, then, your goal is to start moving those out of your life, especially if they're habits, bad habits that are keeping you from, making the progress you ultimately want to make in your life and in your business. If you're struggling to come up with ideas on what should go under the things you already do, need to do, want to do, then I'm going to give you some ideas here real quick. So sourcing activities could be, this is not an inclusive list. This is not the be all end all, but these are just some ideas. So things you could be doing is, some things that you could be writing under one of these three columns is, doing some advanced planning, thinking about the upcoming holidays, events, and seasons, researching or, sourcing your replenishables, sourcing your consumables, sourcing your wholesale products, sourcing your drop shipping products, coming up with your private label or white label ideas, sourcing those. Those are things you potentially could be doing from a sourcing standpoint, and there's so much more. The next one is research. You could be doing product research, listing research, keyword research. These are activities I feel like you should be doing in your business. They actually do serve you well. Some people might be doing a thin version of this, meaning they do it very lightly, and some may actually spend time, committed, focused time doing them. Listing activities, well, you should be engaging in listing activities every week if you're running an e-commerce business. To some extent, depending on what it is that you sell, like if you have a private label product and that's the only thing you sell, that you may not be doing this all the time. But if you're running white label products, you probably have white label products that come in and out of your business. So you might be doing this a little bit more. Drop shipping, print on demand, whatever. So, listing activities are, creating titles, descriptions, images, figuring out your price, cross listing, your multi-channel listing, creating market videos for your products, for your product listing. These are all things you could be doing in your business. The next one is shipping related activities. If this could be, if you're doing FBA or WFS, you've got to get those shipments out to those warehouses, right? So there's a whole process that goes with that. If you've got your own another fulfillment center, prep center, or 3PL, again, there's still activities you have to do to make sure that inventory makes it there. If you're fulfilling orders yourself, then when are you shipping the stuff? Do you have dedicated evenings in which you do it, or do you just do it randomly, haphazardly? Could you be a little more organized about it? And are you confirming or auditing shipments? So if you're doing drop shipping, if you're doing print on demand, are you going out there and checking to make sure that the shipments went out? If you're not, that's probably something you should consider doing, because there's nothing like getting a bunch of refund requests trying to figure out why you're getting all these refund requests. Then the next one is admin activities. I feel like this one is one that people run away from. So running your platform reports, knowing what your platform reports are, filing your taxes, doing bank reconciliation, account reconciliation, um, inventory reconciliation, all of that reconciliation stuff. Creating your budget, balancing your budget, tracking your expenses, tracking your receipts, ordering inventory, checking for expiration dates, auditing your inventory. Um, Creating standard operating procedures where it makes sense. Maybe you have a VA that you're ultimately going to get for Q4, or that you already have, and maybe you need to tweak your standard operating procedures that your VA sort of follows, your process and procedure guide. Reviewing and adjusting your prices. Maybe you have a tool for that. That's fine. You may even have a tool for creating your listings. That's fine. You still need to go out there and look at some stuff. And analyzing your data and reviewing your stats. Now, this again is not the be all end all, but are you doing these things? Are you not? Should you consider doing them? Because you're working to hopefully scale your business, or either just to be consistent in your business. So these are some things to think about. You probably have some more that you want to add to that list. So put this on the list, especially with next week being the first week in August. Like, you need to reconcile and resolve July, since this is the first week in August. That should be on your agenda. Then customer service related activities, so handling questions or responding to questions, dealing with returns and refunds and reviews. Like, oh, do you have a process in place? Do you go out there and review customer reviews? Do you respond to that kind of stuff? Do you, contact the platform if it's an inappropriate question? Um, do you, who handles your returns and refunds? Do you do it? Do you have a process or procedure for that? Then education related activities. What do you need to do better? What do you need to understand better? What do you need to gain knowledge or develop a skill in? What do you need to learn? And I think this is one of those that, people that are into a rhythm, a pattern, they may slide this in from time to time, but new sellers, sometimes what happens is they spend more time in the learning and education window, and they should not, because learning is great, but you have to do. You can watch videos all day long on how to ride a bicycle, but it's until you get onto the bicycle and something happens in your brain where the neurotransmitters are like, this is how I teach my legs and my feet and my ankles and my arms and my body to balance and to move. So watching something all day is nothing compared to doing. I would encourage you to have some dedicated education and learning time in your schedule. Everybody should have that because you always should be wanting to get better. But on the flip side of that, it should be limited. You should limit that to 1 to 2 hours a week max. And you should decide what it is you're going to focus on. If I am going to work on getting better at keyword research, then I'm going to focus the entire month of August for 1 hour every single week getting better at keyword research. And that's the only thing I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to focus on anything else. I'm going to commit my time to that. And then everything that I learn about keyword research, I'm going to apply it the rest of the week. So watching videos all day long and then doing nothing with it is not helpful. Watching and immediately applying will change your life. It'll change your business. So you should have focused time on focused things, specific things that you're going to do, and then immediately apply what you learned. Otherwise, it's just wasted time. You might as well just be sitting there watching Netflix. So do that so that you can immediately improve your business by applying what you just learned. All right. So you should have dedicated time to do that. It should not exceed more than an hour to 2 hours every single week. And it should be focused on a specific thing. Then the next one is your marketing and traffic related activities. What are you doing? What are you not doing? Maybe you're not doing anything. If you're just, maybe you're doing retail arbitrage and you're just listing, and that's it. If you are doing something beyond retail arbitrage, again, listing and then taking the opportunity to um, get more traffic or traction to your listings, like running your listings through Pingler or Ping Farm. This is Q4. We're going into Q4. You gotta start working on strategies to get more traffic to your listings. Getting better at naming your images so that your products can come up in the search views. Those are all strategies for optimizing your listings. As you get better at keyword research, getting better at your titles, getting better at your descriptions, going out there and checking other people's and then figuring out what changes you need to make to yours. So optimizing your listings, how often do you go out there and do that? How often do you connect or work to connect with influencers? Are you using any email marketing or video marketing tactics to drive more traffic to your listings? Doing paid ads and doing paid campaigns are fine, but you also need to learn some organic strategies. And so, have you implemented any organic strategies into your current game plan? If not, something you ought to think about, something you ought to do. So as you go through, and now that I've given you some things to think about when it comes to things you should be doing, already doing, whatever, then the next step of this process is to begin, as you're on that Excel spreadsheet, is to begin to fill in the blanks where it makes sense. Now, you're not going to have an answer for everything, but you can put some ideas out there. So maybe it makes sense for me to work on my education on Sundays at like 8 p.m. for 1 hour, focus time. And if I'm going to focus on education on Sundays, that's great. When I get to the what, I can decide that this week I'm going to focus 100% on keyword research for 1 hour. Or this week I'm going to focus 100% on product research for 1 hour. Or I'm going to focus on my titles, or product descriptions for 1 hour. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to watch every video that I already tagged that I wanted to see, or I'm going to go through that training that I already bought and use that as my basis for getting better at my listing. Okay. And then immediately executing that the rest of the week. So you're going to fill in the other columns that are blank which day it makes sense to potentially do this task and which time. And if you don't want to put a time, you can do morning, afternoon, and evening so that you are not stressed out about that. In addition to that, I want you to think about the mini habits and mini goals that may be tied directly to some of the activities or actions you're going to engage in. So mini habits or mini goals are, sorry, not just mini habits and mini, but some of the other, the goals that you're establishing. There's going to be a direct correlation to, a mini habit or a mini goal. It could be something that becomes a routine or habit stacking. It could be tied directly to a time block, or it could be defined as a SMART goal. The things that you're going to put on your list, the goals, could be lumped into other categories. So an example of a mini habit or mini goal is I'm going to use drinking water. Drinking water, maybe right now you feel like, you're dehydrated all the time. And so you don't drink enough water. So at the end of the day, your goal is to drink, at least 64 ounces of water every single day. And right now you feel like I'm probably hitting 48. And for whatever reason, I can't seem to crack it. So what you could do is you could put the mini habit or mini goal together to say, you know what, I'm just going to make sure that at a minimum I drink at least 8 ounces of water. Now, if you're already drinking 48, why would you set that as a simple goal? Well, maybe what's happening is you're not even consistent with the 48. Okay. And so if you're inconsistent, let's just get the habit or the routine of consistency going first. The habit or the routine of consistency is just making sure that every day, no matter what, I'm drinking water, or at least 8 ounces, 16 ounces, 32 ounces, whatever, at a minimum. And then we can scale from there. So spend 30 days working on the habit of just doing the same thing. Another example would be listing. Maybe you're random about your listing. Maybe you list on Mondays and Thursdays, and that's pretty much it. And you really want to get to the place where you're listing every single day. Then you create a mini habit or mini goal, something that's easy to attain. Like, I'm going to create one listing every single day. Well, that's doable. One listing every single day, depending on how long it takes you to create a listing. Maybe that's part of the problem, is that you haven't done it enough to where you could get faster at just creating listings. So the mini habit or mini goal might be create one listing every day, no matter what, for 30 days. So now you have the habit of always creating a listing. So when you stop creating a listing, or you miss a day where you didn't create a listing, or you're at the end of the day to go, wait a minute, I didn't create a listing today. Your brain goes up. You have built a habit now and you haven't done something today. What is it that I haven't done? I haven't created a listing. So that's what a mini habit or mini goal can do for you. You can go through the process of creating that habit or goal, establishing it by creating just a little bitty small goal that's easy to attain. Going for a walk. So maybe one of the things you want to do is you want to go for a half-mile walk every single day, or you want to go for a mile walk for every single day. But you're very inconsistent. You go, okay, this week I went Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And then last week I went, Sunday. And then the week before that, I went on Wednesday and Saturday. Like, you're very random and inconsistent. So let's get the habit of consistency going first. And let's just say you're going to walk for 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes is doable. I can walk for 5 minutes every single day. Just do that. Just do that. And then from there, you can build onto, okay, I got the 5 minutes down. I'm going to go a little bit longer. Let's go for 10. Let's go for 15. And then when you have a day where you didn't walk, you will feel that something is off because now you've built the habit around it. I didn't walk today. Oh, I need to do that. And then you can scale from there. You can increase the number of listings that you create from 1 to 10 or 5, or you can do gradual progression, 3, then 5, then 7, then 10 from a listing standpoint. And the same thing with your walking. You can go from 5 to maybe 10 minutes to 15 to 20, and then get up to 30 minutes. And then there you go. You've now built your habit, but you do that in increments. You can increase the amount every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, you add to the amount. So creating 1 listing a day, 2 weeks from now, 3 listings a day, 2 weeks from now, 5 listings a day, 10 weeks from now, 7 weeks from, just keep building on that. And the same thing with walking. Habit stacking is pretty much a routine. It's a logical order for a routine. So if you think about some of the routines that you currently engage in, maybe you have a morning routine, you have an evening routine. It may not be perfect, but I like to think of a routine as, putting it on an assembly line. Think of it like a sandwich. So if you think about it as a sandwich, if you're making a sandwich, doesn't matter what kind of sandwich it is, as far as I'm concerned. You have the bread on the top and the bottom, and you have the inside layers. So we're going to dissect. Let's talk about listings. Well, when you lay a listing out, there's components to it. There's a title, there's a description, there's a picture, there's there's a price, there's a shipping method, and then you can hit list. Once you figured out all of those aspects, I figure out the category too. But after you figure out all those aspects, then you hit submit, and the listing is up. So what are the steps and the actions to get each one of those pieces so that it works? So what are you doing to get the title? What are you doing to get the description? What are you doing to get the images? What are you doing to figure out the shipping? What are you doing to figure out the pricing? So let's figure out what that routine is just to get this listing up, because there's some pre-steps that are happening there. So if you're doing retail arbitrage, an example might be, maybe your routine is very random and haphazard right now. And so now we're going to try and tighten it up over time and get better at it. A way to do that might be when you go out and do retail arbitrage, before you put something into your basket, you already know what the price is and you already know how you're going to ship it. That solves those two things. If you're using a scan and list method, then you can immediately add it to your inventory in your back office, and you can set the price at that time when you scan it and you list it immediately. If you're selling on Amazon, you can just add it to your inventory, and you can add it as a draft. The same thing with eBay. You have some level of creating drafts on eBay. So now that you know what the price is, and you also know what the shipping method is, because I don't ever acquire inventory if I don't know how I potentially am going to ship it. Then the next thing is, when you get home with that inventory, what's the first thing that you do? Do you throw it in a corner? Maybe not. The first thing that I would probably do is start prepping that inventory and take the pictures. Get that out of the way. So now you've gotten out of the way 4 pieces of this process. You've taken the images and you've already named it. Plus, on top of that, you prepped the item. So now when I sit down to list, 4 of those activities are already 100% taken care of for me. Actually, technically 5, because you already know what category it's going to go in. So you already know the price. You already know how you're going to ship it. You already have the pictures. It's already been prepped. All of that work has been done. Now it's just a matter of the title and the description. So whatever your process is for the title and the description, maybe you already have some other apps that you use to figure out titling and or description, and you just tweak it and then you hit submit. What used to take an hour to create a listing, now you've collapsed down to maybe 15 minutes. That's a drastic improvement. If you can create a listing in 15 minutes, or even 6 or 5, now your ability to create more listings becomes faster. You can create more listings in an hour versus it taking you 3 hours to create 3 listings. So look at your process. Habit stacking is taking the sequence of events that you're engaging in, whatever that happens to be, the sequence of events that are attached to the activity you're about to do, and putting them in logical sequential order. That's the short version. I refer to it as a routine. What is the routine? Then you got time blocks, which we previously talked about. Checklists. Some people prefer checklists over time blocks. Some people just like that better. They have a sense of accomplishment by checking things off the list, and that's fantastic. You also can create SMART goals. Some of the things that you're going to put on your schedule, your agenda, are going to be SMART goals, tied to SMART goals. Like your number of listings could be tied to a SMART goal. Your number of listings, meaning if you know that creating listings make you money and you know that the platform likes it when you create new listings and it therefore gives your listings a little bit more link juice, that means, or a little bit more visibility, that means that you're going to potentially get more sales. So there is a cause and effect to that activity of creating listings. So you can establish a SMART goal to say, you know what, I want to create 300 listings this month or 400 listings this month. And if that's the case, you can measure your progress every single day towards that 300 or 400 listings. Every day, what am I doing? You can take that 400 and divide it by, or 300 by the number of days in the month. And then once you divide it in by the days, the number of days in the month, or you could divide it by the number of weeks in the month, then you'll know what you need, what your targets are every single week and what your targets are every single day. This is the number of listings I have to create in order to achieve my goal of 300 new listings. So that works under almost every circumstance. What are the things that you need to do to achieve those goals? Then the next one is so we talked about SMART goals. We're going to take all of the stuff that we put in our brain dump and we're going to put it into the second tab, which we created at the beginning called Sheet 2. And we're going to make that our template. We're going to build it out as a visual representation. On Sheet 2, if you want to left click on the words Sheet 2, you can call it Weekly Plan or Weekly Template. And at the top of the spreadsheet, in column A, you can put Sunday. In column B, you can put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Or you can put a space and use column A for times, and then or categories of morning, afternoon, and evening, whichever one works better for you. And then you can start with column B and put Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then just go down the spreadsheet and across. These are all the things I'm going to do in the morning. Then put a line. These are all the things I'm going to do in the afternoon. And then put a line. And these are all the things I'm going to do in the evening. And have an activity for every single day, like the example that's in the spreadsheet or in the notes here. Okay. Or you can do time blocks, whichever one works better for you. But fill that in, and then I want you to work to follow that schedule for at least 2 weeks. You can tweak it after 2 weeks. If it doesn't work out, make adjustments where it makes sense. Your goal is to ultimately create a schedule that flows for you based on your life. The other piece of that is just know that your subconscious mind is going to fight you because you're trying to build a new habit, a new routine. And so if you're trying to build a new habit, a new routine, and you've got some old bad habits in place, your body, your mind, your energy, your spirit is going to try to revert back to your old bad habits, and you're ultimately trying to change that. So you're trying to break the habit of the bad habits that you've established and build new ones. And it's going to take at least 30 to 60 and sometimes 90 days of doing this over and over again before it becomes, on autopilot. There are things that you do on autopilot that you don't even have to think about anymore. And that's ultimately where you don't think about it as much. And that's ultimately where you're working to get that this becomes part of your day-to-day habit. And when you don't engage in that, then you feel a little off. Something feels a little weird. I didn't do something today. What did I not do? Oh, I didn't do blah, blah, blah. Now, with this schedule, that doesn't mean that there's going to be stuff that is, hiccups that don't come and happen in your life. It's just par for the course. But for the most part, throughout the day, you'll find that this routine, this schedule is going to actually bring you back to it every single day as you build and once you build the habit. When the days that you don't create a listing, it's going to be like, wait a minute, you can't go to bed. You didn't create listings today. Wait a minute, you can't go to bed. You didn't check to make sure all your shipments went out today. Wait a minute. It will know when your subconscious mind will tell your conscious mind, wait a minute, pump the brakes, Thanos. We didn't do something today. Okay. So step 2 of the process is taking the template that you just built and turning it into your actual schedule for this particular week. So you're going to look at your monthly plan. We haven't built the monthly plan yet. Normally in the monthly plan, we know what we're doing for this week, but you're going to build that tomorrow. So you would look at your monthly plan. You would also determine, based on the monthly plan in the first full week of August, what are the priorities for the first full week in August. Then number 3, of this step 2 is, or the next bullet is, the habits that you're working to establish. So when you're working to build habits, like, okay, I want to create listings every single day, that's vague and generic, and you probably want to be a little more specific. But if the habit is list 5 things every day, you're going to track that. And you're not just going to track it for 1 week, for 7 days. You're going to track it for a month. So figure out for the month of August, what are the habits you want to build? And think about your habits from your personal life that will serve you well from August to the end of the year, and also your business life that you can do in August that will serve you well from August to the end of the year. Creating 5 listings every single day will definitely serve you well. Creating 10 and start building that number up, because we're going into Q4, will probably serve you a little bit better. I'm just saying. Going for a walk, getting out, exercising, getting that blood pumping will definitely serve you well. So getting out and walking, 15 minutes every single day is a good thing. Maybe bumping it up to 20 minutes is a better thing. So I'm just saying, think about the things that will serve you well, because your habits are not just your business stuff. There are a couple of personal ones that get thrown in there. And then as you think about the actual, and we go back to the same categories that we looked at before. So we talked about sourcing. Where am I sourcing this week? What am when am I sourcing, and where am I sourcing? If you have a sourcing time block or a sourcing category this week, and it's on 3 different days or 4 different days, what am I sourcing on those days? Be specific. If you know where you're sourcing from, then indicate, okay, I'm going to Walmart. That's where I'm sourcing from if I'm doing retail arbitrage. If I'm sourcing from, I don't know, Bed Bath & Beyond, whatever, that's where I'm going. Then the next one is research, like product research. What product research, what is the product that I'm researching this week? You have an idea. So typically it's going to, hopefully in August, it's going to be those things that are going to sell in October, November, or December. So you're going to have some products that you feel like you need to do potentially a little bit of research on. Be specific. What am I doing product research on? What am I doing keyword research on? The next one is listing. So what am I listing? Most of us know that we need to be creating our listings anywhere from 4 to 8 or 12 weeks in advance of whatever's coming up. So this would be the window to start putting that stuff up if you haven't already put it up. Here's the deal. People don't buy Father's Day stuff they do buy Father's Day stuff on Father's Day, but how much sense does it make for you to create listings on Father's Day? It doesn't. You have to have those listings up in advance in order for people to buy them. So the listing has to already have existed. That's why it's 4 to 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 weeks up in advance. So when I say, what am I listing? If you haven't already done the work on what you're going to be listing in, October, or what you're going to be listing in November or December, you need to spend August figuring that out so you can know what you need to create listings for. And some of those listings need to already be live, and some of them can be templates, either one. And then the next thing is, shipping, or what are the things you want to learn? All of the things, you need to put the what and put the detail behind the what, and use it as your basis for building out the schedule that you're working on. Then the next thing is just to go execute the schedule. Every single day, pull up the schedule so that you know what you're supposed to be doing today, and you'll know what you're supposed to be doing tomorrow and what you're supposed to be doing the next day. That's how you build your schedule out. And so as you build this schedule out, the more you do this over and over again, the more improvements you'll see in your business, because you have to be intentional with what you do every single day. Every day you should be intentional. And all those incremental improvements that you implement over time are going to reshape your business. They're going to change what happens to your business in October, in November, in December, because of the actions that you're taking now. So go build your weekly schedule and use this template as your guide. So my name is Nicole Whitlock, and I'm with Ecom Sellers, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get organized, get focused, get consistent in their business. If that's you, you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me by going to ecomsellers.com. That's ecomsellers.com. Clicking on freebies and scheduling a free 20-minute coaching session with me. In addition to that, you can definitely go And you can go and register for the Ecom Q4 Summit by going to www.ecomq4summit.com to register right now and to join us in the Ecom Q4 Summit. And last but not least, I do invite you to join us in Ecom Sellers Academy. Ecom Sellers Academy, this Q4, we are going to be, we're starting in September. We're going to be going through a 12-week boot camp, Q4 boot camp, to help people to get ready for Q4. So that's 3 months, 12 weeks of every single week on Wednesday. We're going to be going through one thing you need to be doing in your business so that you're ready this Q4. We're going to be covering everything from marketing to listing optimization to, sourcing to product research, all of the above, bundles. We're going to cover it all in this boot camp. So you can join Ecom Sellers Academy to participate in that. And I look forward to hanging out with you. So that's all I got for you. My hope, my prayer, my wish for you is that today you have an extremely focused, highly profitable, and successful day. And with that, we're going to say goodbye for now. Bye, y'all.